Let's see the workflow definition. We saw a whole process of workflow for the first steps of an order and then the provisioning of the order to the billing. This is based on workflow definition in multiple levels, at the order level, at the service level, at the service identifier level, and so on. Let's see how this has been defined in the system. For example, we have on the order level the WISE Easy FMC quad play activation, and this is the active workflow that runs. Let's see what this workflow has. We have two ways to view such workflows. One way is to check on the rules that have been configured in the system at in text level. So this creates us a view of all the different rules, the type of rules, and the type of transitions of the workflow. For example, there is a rule here that says with priority number 1 we need to have correct order if an order is invalid. We saw that in the order that we placed, the order was valid because we had fixed all the errors and the warnings before saving it. If this was not the case, then the correct order step would have started and not the order confirmation call. Let's see how these rules are defined. Again, we have a condition area as flexible as in the rule validation rule definition, which defines when a rule will fire. In this case, we say that this rule will fire when the order type is equal to contract insertion, and we have a product of WISE FMC, and the status is invalid. And this rule fires as an entry rule in the beginning of the workflow, and it creates a new event of correct order, where this event in turn has defined some instructions of what the system user has to do and some specific fields that have to be filled in, one that is mandatory and another that is optional. Let's see similarly how this can be done graphically. Instead of viewing the workflow on a text level, we can access our graphical workflow design tool that gives you the same information in a graphical view. So we initiate this screen, and this opens us a Visio-like tool that presents the definition of a workflow and models it. For example, again, we have the entry of the workflow, and we have in the boxes that model the different actions, the different events, and the arrows that define the transitions. For example, we have an entry rule that takes us from entry to order confirmation call, and this says, let's configure this rule. It says that we do this for WISE FMC products that are contract insertion and the order status is valid, and then we go to the order confirmation call. And let's see what this order confirmation call is. It's an event with these instructions: call the customer and confirm that he wants to proceed with the order, check if the order are correct, and we have to register the customer response. This is a mandatory field of type list. This means that predefined values have been set here. Proceed with the order, no corrections needed. Proceed with the order, corrections are needed. Do not proceed with the order. The customer denies, refuses this order, and so on. So in this area, we can add new fields or add new possible values to the fields, and change the way that each step of the workflow is managed. And in the back of the screen, we can define new boxes or new arrows that define new transitions. And we can do this as simple as that. We can map two boxes and add a transition rule that relates these boxes and says that we have a new rule that goes from order confirmation call to order refused, and it has a specific priority, and it has some specific rules when it will fire. It's an end condition with this inputs. So this is how we can play around with our workflow and change it and check if it is correct. Getting back to our main screen, we can see that this is an active diagram, which means that we cannot really change it. Only for specific cases we would change it. But if we want to change our process from now on to a different one, we can always copy this and paste it and create a new copy of it, define this as version number 2, and start editing this as much as we like, editing the rules of it as much as we like, and as soon as we are finished and we are convinced that this is the new diagram, we can go back and activate this and say, now on, the new orders that will be placed, they will not follow the standard process, the old process, but will now follow the version number 2 process, which means that we will be asked, how soon does this start? As of now, or as of a specific date? It starts as of 1st of May midnight, for example. And in this way we can version our rules for workflows and play around with what happens when. In addition to what we have already seen, I want to show the area where the integration part to the BSCS has been placed. If we go back to the our workflow, there is a specific event that defines the insertion of customer order and order to the billing. If we edit this event, we will see that it is a system event. The user does nothing. It's a system event, and it contains a specific action, a BSCS customer and contract insertion, which is specifically defined for the PO, for the integration function of the system, that enables us to make this mapping and this web service call. The system comes with numerous ready built-in functions for several different operations, but of course additional system functions can be built either from the vendor or from an integrator or the customer itself. So having covered this area, we can go and check out the product service definition of the quad play product in eXray. So if we go in the area of product structure, we have the product catalog available, and we see how this is defined. In this example, we have WISE SMC, which has been built to contain these mandatory services, and for each service we have defined the properties and the identifier properties that it holds. For example, in GSM telephony, we had this GSM yes/no, GSM number of 150, multimedia messaging, video streaming with different speeds, push to talk, enable, disable. These are absolutely configurable. You can build your product exactly as you like and create this hierarchy as it fits your commercial needs, and then using the codification, the public keys used here, you can map them to your internal billing services, technical billing service. If this is not needed, you can go one by one and do not have any mapping whatsoever. Again, we have versioning here. The product can have a version, and you can clone it and create a new clone as a subversion of it. Let's put this, and this is an initial product that it has the same concept, and let's say that we will put a new additional service here, which is let's say it's high definition TV instead of video streaming, or its email service, whatever, and it has been defined as an optional service, and it has already got the properties that it has: number of email accounts, quota per mail account, antivirus. It's just an example. In this way, we can build the commercial side of the product catalog and map it to BSCS exactly as we like.